Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to break down the Clemson Tigers 2021 recruiting class is a man who knows everything about recruiting, down to from where their baby shoes were bought by their mothers, all the way to where their moms bought those first athletic shoes, all the way to where the guys bought their first pair of shoes for themselves with that first NFL check that they cash as soon as they get drafted. The man himself, Logan Landers. How's it going, Mr. Landers?
Hey, Jeremiah, let me just say, these descriptions you're giving are amazing this morning so far. I love it, but I'm doing awesome. We just talked about Clemson just a second ago with their Ohio State game that's coming up. Be sure to check that out if you're on Facebook or listen to the podcast. That game's going to be amazing, but that's great now in the present, but we're looking at the future right now. I'm ready to talk about these recruits and how they can help out Clemson, not just in 2021, but well beyond.
Yes, and Logan's going to break down all 18 of the recruits that we know about at this point. And I would just like to say, if you do love our show, which thank you so much for loving all of our recruiting videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And the biggest thing, two things that we would love for you to do is drop a comment and tell us exactly what you think about the recruits, and then share the video and tell other people that you know what you love about these recruiting classes. We love Facebook groups, so if you're in any Clemson Tigers Facebook groups, we'll probably see you there first off, because we hang out a lot in these groups. But also, please share it into these groups. Every time you share it into one of these groups, we get a lot more organic reach. And that's just a very technical term saying that you help us out so much to get all of our content out to the public without putting extra expense and cost on our staff to do that. So without further ado, Mr. Landers, break down the Clemson Tigers 2021 recruiting class.
Let's do it. So, like you said, Jeremiah, there's 18 players who have signed the letter of intent to go to Clemson, be a Tiger. So just this class right now as a whole, just broken down on 24/7 Sports, which is a very reliable source that I get all my information from about all these players, all the recruits. Man, they're number one ranked in the ACC, which is not a surprise at all, given how much of a powerhouse that they are. And they're also ranked 5th nationally. So they've got a lot of big guys coming in. And let's get right into it. We got a lot of people to cover. Let's do it. So first off is Will Taylor. Will Taylor is from Dutch Fork, that's his high school too, out in South Carolina. So he's staying at home. He's billed as an athlete right now, 5'10", 157 pounds. So he's got a little bit of weight to get out. But a little bit of a tidbit about Will here, Jeremiah, is he's going to be a dual sport athlete. He's also going to be on the baseball team for Clemson as well. So this guy's going to be going the Deion Sanders route, going all the Bo Jackson route, trying to do 2-1. So we'll see how he can do for both, Clemson's baseball program as well as the football. So that's going to be awesome. We're going to see how he can do on both sides of the ball. So like I said, Will, he's a little bit of the smaller side. He's a 3-star recruit, but that means he's got some speed to him if he can play some baseball. So we'll see how he can pan out for the Tigers coming up in just a little bit in his upcoming year. Up next, we're going to be talking about Bubba Chandler. So Bubba is out of Bogart, Georgia. He's a pro-style quarterback. He's 6'4", 195 pounds, 3-star recruit as well, 29th in the state of Georgia in terms of the quarterback position. So he's doing pretty good for himself as well. Of course, being a pro-style quarterback, he's got to have that good arm. So that is going to help him out. And we'll have to see how he can climb up the ranks of that Clemson quarterback depth chart, which we see year after year is just always stacked. So we'll see what Bubba can do and if he can get his name out there for the Tigers one day. Next, we're going to talk about Ryan Linthicum. So Ryan is he's a big boy, man. He's an offensive center, 275, 6'4". He's a 4-star recruit coming out of Maryland. So he is a big guy, and you got to have those good offensive linemen. And you got to have, especially the center is the one that snaps the ball, of course. So he's got to have a good hand. He's the 4th ranked the offensive center right now, 11th in his state. So he's doing pretty good, man. He's living a good life, 4-star recruit too. So from here on out, we're just getting 4 and 5 stars. So Clemson's done a very good job. 2 3-star recruits, a lot of 4 stars. So we'll see what they can get up to here. And hopefully Ryan Linthicum, we'll see him, hiking the ball, not doing anything pretty, not doing anything fancy, but just doing a really solid job that you got to have in order to be a successful football team. All right, up next we got Dietrick Pennington. Dietrick is a very highly touted guy out of Cordova, Tennessee, out of the Tennessee region, of course. Another offensive guard. Jeremiah, this guy is huge already, man. This guy is a monster. 6'5", 326 pounds. So he is absolutely a beast. Coming out of Tennessee, he's fifth in the state right now. 211th nationally, 12th at his position. So a big guy who's going to be blocking a lot. Potentially, for Bubba Chandler, for a lot of these guys. So we'll have to see. So, but I do think this guy is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, we can see his picture here, just just the size that he has on all the players in high school. So I'm sure he's going to look as large in college because we've seen that before. But I do have a feeling this guy is just going to get even stronger and is going to help out that Clemson team in the near future. So after Mr. Pennington, we're going to be going on to Phil Mafah. So Phil, right now, he's out of Loganville, Georgia. He's a running back, 6'1", 215 pounds, 9th in his position, 17th in the state of Georgia, 193 pounds. So being 6'1", 215 pounds, he's going to have a good mix of speed and a little bit of power too. So it'll be interesting to see what Phil can do. Because, I mean, look, we just talked about Travis Etienne and all the records he set. So maybe Phil Mafah can get there one day. Who knows? We'll have to see what this young man can do for the Tigers. Up next, we're going to talk about Zaire Patterson. Zaire Patterson. So Patterson is out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He is a defensive end, weak side defensive end. And, man, this guy is also impressive with just his intangibles as well. So right now, he's 6'6", 230 pounds. It's crazy that these guys, just looking at them, that they're just so athletic at this age, man. They're younger than me, and they're just so talented, and they're, just their speed, athleticism. And you can't teach height. So 6'6", that's already very impressive. So he's 179th ranked nationally, 11th in his position, also 11th in the state of North Carolina. So this guy is also going to be a force to be reckoned with as well, just with his height and weight alone. Get some strength on there as well, and we'll see what he can do for this Tigers team in the near future. Next, we got Dacari Collins. So Dacari is an interesting case. He's out of Atlanta, Georgia, with the Westlake High School. Wide receiver, 6'3", 200 pounds flat, 16th ranked in the state, 31 in his position, 177th ranked nationally. So Dacari, of course, Clemson's got some good receivers on there as well. We've seen a lot of their big name guys get drafted in the NFL and have very productive years at Clemson. And hopefully, we got to get a little bit of love out there to all the Atlanta guys out there who've been killing it for all these teams. So hopefully we can have Dacari, maybe come on the show one day. We can have him from Atlanta. We can have him on.
That'd be great.
And we can talk about him about that. So hopefully, best of luck to Dacari going out to Clemson. He's obviously going to have a lot of talent to be out there with those guys. So props to him. We'll see what he can do. Up next, we're going to be talking about Troy Stellato. So Troy is an interesting case as well. He's out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, another wide receiver, 4-star recruit, 174th ranked nationally, 30th at his position, 26th in the state. So Dacari and Troy are going to be getting to know each other very well in that wide receiving room. Troy's like 6 foot 175, so he's got some good intangibles as well. And coming out of Florida, that's always just a hotbed for football. So it's in his blood. He's gonna be willing to help this team out in any way possible. Next, Andrew Mukuba. Andrew is 6 foot 185 out of Austin, Texas. He's a safety.
Wow.
165th ranked nationally, 8th in his position at the safety, and 30th in his state of Texas, which is another just breeding ground for high intensity football players. So we'll see how Andrew can do on that Clemson defense, because like I said, Jeremiah, they've got a very good lineage of both players on offense as well as defense, and you got to have defense to win some championships now. So we'll see if Andrew can essentially play a part in getting them in our championship in the near future. Next, we're going to go about Marcus Tate. So Marcus is out of Miami Gardens, Florida, offensive guard, 6'4", 318, 7th in his position, our 4-star recruit. And, man, this guy is just already a beast if you just look at that picture there. He's going to of course, you got to gain a little bit more weight probably to get into college. You got to get more muscle. That's a given, though, with all these guys. They're coming, fresh out of high school or fresh, out of their academies and whatnot. So
yeah,
that's always just a growing period. But, I mean, he's already got the look for it. He's already got, the weight, the height. He's just got to get a little bit stronger and we'll see how he can produce in the college level. Up next, we're going to be talking about Nathaniel Wiggins, another guy out of Westlake in Atlanta, cornerback, 6'2", 170, 120th nationally, 7th in his position, 13th in the state. So Nathaniel, another guy out of Atlanta, we're going to be hoping that we can talk about one day as one of the greats here. So hopefully he can knock things out the park for Clemson, help them out, get a couple of interceptions as well. That'd be I know the Tiger fans would love to see that. So after him, man, we're going to be talking about Cade Denhoff, who is a defensive end as well, 6'4.5", 235, 101 ranked player right now, 9th in his position, 14th in the state of Florida out of Lakeland. So with the Lakeland Christian School. So we'll have to see how Cade can do on the defensive end. He already just looks like a college player from that picture right now. If you're watching us on Facebook right now, if you listen to the podcast, I'll give like a description. This guy just has the look of someone you would think that was in college as an athlete. He's already got the Clemson Tigers shirt on as well, so he's already repping his school. So we'll see how he can do for the Tigers for that defensive position. All right, next we're going to talk about Payton Page. Payton Page is out of Greensboro, North Carolina, defensive tackle, 6'4", 360. So this dude's already there in terms of the weight, in terms of the height. But he's explosive, man, 4-star recruit, 93rd in the nation, 7th in his position, 5th in the state of North Carolina. So this dude's already got his intangibles checked off. Now we just got to see if he can produce. So it's going to be interesting to see how the defense is going to, maybe center around him and how he's going to be playing. Because, man, he's already got everything there. It's just got to translate onto the field. That's the main part. All right, we're going to go with Beaux Collins next. So Beaux is out of St. John Bosco in Bellflower, California. So he's making quite the trip from California over there to the Carolinas. So Beaux is a very talented wide receiver, 4-star recruit, 6'2.5", 195. Got some speed, got good hands as well. 83rd in the nation, 14th in his position, 19th in the state of California. So we'll have to see how he can do, man, because it's a little bit interesting seeing these guys from on the West Coast coming over here to the East and in the South, potential, in the South also with Clemson. We'll see how his play style changes because we see it's a different type of play over in California, over in the West Side, as opposed to down in the SEC and the ACC,
Absolutely.
down here in these southern states. So we'll have to see if his game can transfer over. I'm sure it will, as talented as this guy is. Like I said, you gotta have some good talent to be a 4-star recruit. So this guy's got some good hands. We'll have to see how he can produce for the Tigers. All right, Jake Briningstool is up next on the list. Tight end here out of Brentwood, Tennessee, 6'2", 215. He's the number 1 ranked tight end here, 4-star recruit, 59th ranked in the nation, number 1 tight end in the state. So this guy's got some pretty good hype around him. We'll have to see if he can, live up to the potential. But so far, coming out of high school, came out of Ravenwood, like I said. So we'll have to see how he can produce. So he's got the hype around him. He's got the intangibles as well with his height and weight. He got the hands as well. Got some good speed. You got to be able to block too, being a tight end. So we'll have to see if this young man out of Tennessee is going to be producing well for these guys out here in South Carolina. All right, up next. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Jeremiah is an inside linebacker out of St. Joseph's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 6', 210, 4-star recruit, 41st in the nation, number 2 in his position, and number 3 in the state of Philly. So being an inside linebacker, 6', 210, they're going to ask him to get a little bit more bulkier, of course, going up against these huge ACC. All these huge ACC guards and all these guys on the offensive line who are going to be trying to stop him. So we'll have to see just how Mr. Trotter, if he could, if he can get that weight on, if he can get that muscle on, and if he can get past these very talented guards in the ACC, and I'm sure he will. I know he's got that drive and tenacity to get things done. I have next Barrett Carter. So Barrett is out of North Gwinnett High School in Suwanee, Georgia, outside linebacker, of course. Fourth in the state, 3rd in his position, 33rd in the nation. We're in our 5-star recruit territory now, near the end here. So this guy, like I said, 6'1", 220. This guy is a monster. He's already got muscles coming out of his muscles already, Jeremiah, the way he's looking right now.
Yeah.
And so Barrett, hey, he's got a lot of hype around him being a 5-star recruit. And I mean, it's no joke to be a 5-star recruit in Georgia as well, where there's a lot of tough teams out there. You can ask our expert Kevin Jones about all these high school studs that he's come across. And I'm sure that he's seen Barrett Carter before. I'm sure he's looked at some of his tape. And, man, I know this guy is no joke. So we'll have to see if he can produce for the Tigers. But, man, he's already got all the hype around him for sure. And we'll have – hey, another guy from Georgia, we're hoping to get some good numbers out there in college. So we're rooting for you, Barrett, as well as all the other Georgia guys out there. But we're near the end here, Jeremiah. We're at the last one here. We're talking about Will Shipley. So Will is – man, he is a highly touted guy right now, all-pro running back. So he's got some good speed to him, man. He's going to be interesting. He's all-purpose back. My bad. So this dude is 5'11", 198 pounds, 5-star recruit, as I mentioned. Number 1 in his position. Number 1 in the state. He's out of Matthews, North Carolina. Went to Weddington High School. Number 30th in the nation. So Clemson might have just found, their next running back for the next couple of years with this guy. I mean, look, he's got some good elusiveness. We see with that 198, he's got some speed as well. He's got the acceleration to get downfield, keep running. So, man, Shipley, we might be hearing his name called a little bit more of some of these game previews, some draft profiles in the near future, just based off his talent and athleticism right now alone. So I'm going to keep my eye on all these prospects right now, man. But I got my eyes on all the Georgia guys, of course, and I'm going to be looking more at Will Shipley. He is their star they got in this recruiting class. So all eyes on Will. And, man, it's going to be interesting to see how all these recruits can do for these Clemson teams in the near future. I'm looking forward to it. We made the final – that's the final guy there, 18 down.
Oh, right.
These recruits, Jeremiah. Well, I got through it again.
Great job, brother. I really appreciate that because, get you a sip of water there. I mean, you definitely deserve it after going through all 18 of those recruits. Now, another thing I noticed when you see that is Clemson does not slack when it talks about getting out into the nation and really finding these recruits and bringing them in. Now, obviously, because Clemson has such a great reputation right now and they've been doing so well in the last few seasons and they've been just breeding stars that have been going on to the NFL to have great careers, then we know that a lot of kids want to come to Clemson. Now, that being said, you have to have a great coaching staff. You have to have a great athletic department. And you have to really be able to recognize who has the potential to fit into your scheme. Because, yes, there's a lot of 5-star recruits out there, but not every one of them needs to be on Clemson right now. And so you have to be very strategic who you go after because this is very competitive. And as we've seen with some of the recent, even during COVID season, some of the questionable rule violations that have been coming across, that the coaching staffs have to be very careful when they approach these kids and when they approach their parents, when they approach the school systems themselves to make sure that they're recruiting people ethically. And there's just a lot of hoops to jump through to make sure that if you're a great player coming out of high school, that you get the opportunity to come to a great class and to a great school. So shout out to the athletic department at Clemson. Shout out to the coaching staff, and shout out to all of the coaching staffs and the athletic departments who are, navigating these interesting and trying times to try to get these great recruiting classes together. So everybody that's watching, we really appreciate everything that you do, and we appreciate every comment that you leave us. So who is your favorite recruit? What potential Clemson player could come out of high school and then go into Clemson and end up being one of those superstars that could make a name for themselves in 10 years from now? We're mentioning them among the greats. Tell us in the comments who you think that could be. And also make sure that you like, subscribe, and share our podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts, that you look at social media. We have a great YouTube channel where you can go and you can browse through all of our classic history videos where we break down classic teams. You can look at our contemporary videos where we're breaking down the newest draft prospects. You can see our game previews. Plus, we have a great team with Vincent, Mr. Football Turner, two-time All-American and 12-year NFL vet Bobby Butler, coaching expert Kevin Bull Jones, and our newest superstar, Coach Brian Spencer from Carver Bible College, who you may have seen was recently mentioned in the Associated Press for his amazing team and the heart that they have with one of the smallest, schools playing college basketball. That team has so much heart, and they put everything into every single game, even though that they necessarily can't win all of those games or even some of those games at times. So we love our staff, and we love everything that they're doing as they grow, change, and evolve into this powerhouse of sportscasting. So for the entire team here at 100 Yards of Football, I'm Jeremiah Long, and this has been our producer, Logan Landers, and we really appreciate everybody. We'll see you later. Peace.